Give me 1 second, everyone. Let me switch the lights. Okay. Let me just track the stream. Give me 1 second. Okay. My first iPad. I'm gonna name it that. Talking about my first iPad. Okay. Oh, and let me change a few things. Okay, yeah, it's public. Good. Okay. Hi, everyone. Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech. Welcome to the live stream. In this stream, a couple of days ago, not last live stream. Last live stream, I talked about my birthday, which was yesterday. I'm 21 years old as of now. But in my previous live stream, the one before I did yesterday's live stream, in my 7-month anniversary live stream, I talked about the story of my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I talked about how that device got locked. And if you hear background noise, that's just my brother. I try to make my room as quiet as possible. But anyway, this is my first iPad. You guys know that I have an iPad Air 4th generation. Let me just show you guys here. You guys know I have an iPad Air 4th generation from 2020. This is the iPad that I've been using for over 3 years. And it does look like the iPad Pro with one singular camera. The iPad doesn't have a home button. It uses Touch ID and the power button. And this is my iPad. Let me turn the brightness down so you guys can see it here. Here it is. This is my iPad, my 2020 iPad Air. It's my main primary device. Give me 1 second here. I'm just putting it back in the case. Hold on a minute here. Let me just track. Hold on a minute here. Let me just track. Okay. So that's the iPad 7th generation. Or the iPad Air, I mean. But this is the iPad that I wanted to mention. Let me just push this device back just a little bit here. This here is my iPad 7th generation. And this one is a Wi-Fi plus cellular model. That's why you see that black bar at the top. So Wi-Fi plus cellular model. Let's go ahead and power it on. Oh. Let me go ahead and press the wrong button, the power button. Let's go ahead and power on this device. As you can see, it's kind of similar. Let me switch the lights. It's not quite dark out yet. I don't need that light. This is the iPad 7th generation. It's a Wi-Fi and cellular version, 128 GB. This has a black bar at the top. A lot of iPads that have the home button usually have that because it lets you know that it's a cellular model. That's what this was. It was a Wi-Fi plus cellular LTE version. Now, I am not sure how this device got locked. It did not get locked at the same time as my 12 Pro Max. But I will talk about how I got this iPhone or this iPad. Just like with my iPhone, I came from Android. I had a lot of Android tablets. And then came this iPad. And it does look a lot like the iPad, older iPad Air. But the iPad Air 4 or the iPad Air 2 has thicker bezels. But this is my iPad. Now, I got this iPad back in 2020. If I would still be using this device, I would have been using this iPad for 5 years. And this device is 6 years old. This came out in September of 2019 with the iPhone 11. Unfortunately, though, it got a lot of criticism because it's older hardware, older chip that it had. It had the A10 Fusion chip, and it got a lot of negative reviews for that. Let me see if I can. I'm just going to change something really quickly, see if I can. Trying to see if I can use the flashlight on here while I'm live streaming, but I don't see that option. Oh, I forgot you can't just tap the screen. It's not one of those iPads. Whereas my iPad, when you shut off the display, you pretty much can just tap the screen to wake it. You can't do that with home button devices, unfortunately. You guys could comment in the chat if you want to. So I got this iPad on May 5th, 2020. And this became my main device since then. May 5th, 2020 is when I got this device. So here is the iPad. But you guys have already seen it. So I got this device on May 5th, 2020. Initially to use this device for Zoom when I was in high school, but that's also not why I ended up using this device or getting it. That and for it to be my new main device. It made a great Zoom device. While it definitely got negative reviews for the cameras, and it did not have, I believe, a laminated display, and it has the A10 Fusion processor from the iPhone 7, it still was a very powerful iPad, or at least it was for people who just wanted a device and did not want to get the iPad Pro. So this was my first ever iPad. And you can tell it's an older classic iPad design. Whereas iPads now, they don't have the home buttons. The newest iPad to still have the button is the iPad 9th generation. If I'm able to, I will review one on this channel. If I'm able to, but I'd say the iPad A16 is a better device for a lot of reasons. Well, mainly a couple. You get more storage than all the iPads for the base storage, and it gets rid of the home button. Well, I do love this classic design. I love it. It's not as modern and up to date with the latest designs, but it still looks good. Although it may look outdated in 2025, but it still looks good. So I've used this iPad for not 3 years, from 2020 until 2022. So about 1.5 years, 2 years, I've used this device. And then I got the iPad Air 4th generation, which is the device you see here. And I don't know if I've shown the case. I've shown the iPad. This is the case that I have. It's a UAG Metropolis case. I used a flashlight from another device I review, which is the Samsung Galaxy A15. This is the UAG Metropolis case. Oh, let me turn on this device. So I've used this iPad from 2020 until 2022. And at the time when I was using this device, I had my CoolPad Legacy, which was my Android phone when I first got this. Then later, eventually, that iPhone 7, it became my main phone, and I had service put on it. Now, I'm not sure how this device ended up getting locked. That I can tell you was not from what happened with my iPhone 12 Pro Max. Although when that situation happened and I created that passcode, or tried to make a passcode, which I did do, things ended up not going great because I did not know there were passcode options. You can create a passcode, an alphanumeric code, or those options, and then not use passcode. I didn't know those were there, so I tried creating a passcode. The final number, I don't remember what it was that I typed. As I tried to make a 5-digit passcode. But that wasn't an option. It was either 4 digits, 6 digits, alphanumeric code, custom numeric code, or don't use passcode. So when that happened, this device, along with my iPhone 12 Pro Max, ended up getting factory reset to their defaults. The iPhone, somehow I found out later, got locked. This device, though, wasn't locked. I could have set this back up. It was on the hello screen. I could have set this device back up, maybe created a passcode, set up a new account. Obviously, I would have had to start from scratch. But this device was already older, and I took that as an opportunity to get the iPad Air 4, and that's what I did. But this was the device that started. When I first got the iPhone 7 in 2019, I still did not know very much about iPhones, as it took a long time to get service on that device. Almost an entire year, as that was my other brother's iPhone. In which I ended up getting. But eventually, that became my main device. And that's when I started researching Apple. I actually started researching Apple a little bit before, when I used this device, the iPad 7th generation. Now, I believe this device somehow got locked. I don't know when or how. Probably 2023, but it was not from me, as I was using the iPad Air, but this was the first iPad I've gotten. And that's how I know so much about Apple. I haven't had an Apple product for 10 years. I've always wanted an iPad, but 2020 was the year that I got my first iPad, this being the iPad that I've gotten. So the iPad that I reviewed, the other iPad 7th generation, that was my brother's device. It did not have the black bar across the top because his wasn't a cellular model. This one, mine's, is a cellular model. It's an iPad 7th gen, Wi-Fi plus cellular variant. I'm not going to make this live stream too long. I wanted to talk about this device, and I'm going to do a YouTube short talking about it as well. So if you enjoyed this video, or this live stream rather, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I didn't get many comments in the chat. But this is my first iPad. It's the iPad 7th generation. And it was honestly a great device. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I'll see you guys later.